And we're back. Cindy Pena here at the inaugural gala in Montgomery County, and we have with us Senator Chris Van Hollen. Thank you so much for being with us.
It's great to be here. I think this must be my 20th gathering here. It's always an exciting event.
Yeah, well, you got your start working in Maryland, obviously, at the state legislature.
That's right, and this event has really grown over the years. I remember when it first started, it was a great idea, but it's gotten bigger and bigger, which shows you the strong support for the arts in our community.
That's right, and not only that, but also the strong support among, our whole Maryland delegation. You're here, we have Brian Frosch, we have people from all over both the state and our federal elected officials who are here.
No, that's true. You've seen in this county a lot of support. You've seen in the state of Maryland a lot of support at the federal level. We work very hard to try to make sure we fully fund the National Endowment for the Arts, which provides grants to so many different arts organizations. There have been efforts to try to zero out that money. We've prevented that, so there's some good news. We just need to make sure we maintain a lot of public support.
Very good. Doug, I know you have some questions.
We spoke to Jamie Raskin earlier, and he said how much better it is to be part of the majority than it is to be part of the minority. Of course, all the programs that they want to try to pass in the House have to land in the Senate. Yeah. What do you think is the likelihood that some of these issues will see the light of day?
Well, I hope we're able to come to agreement on some of these bills. Obviously, I'm pleased to see the House of Representatives part of a Democratic majority. When it comes to the budget issues, though, we've had pretty good cooperation on a bipartisan basis in the Congress when it comes to the arts. Now, I can't say the same about the current White House. They continue to propose budgets that eliminate funding for things like the National Endowment for the Arts. But so far, in both the Senate and the House, but at least in the Senate, we've had bipartisan support for funding for National Endowment for the Arts and a National Endowment for Humanities.
So, what kinds of efforts is the Senate trying to do to try to get a Democratic majority in the Senate?
Well, I mean, the next elections, of course, will be 2 years from now, and there are a lot of opportunities for Senate Democratic pickups. So we'll see. I mean, right now we're focused on trying to make sure the government doesn't shut down, despite all the Trump threats to shut down the government, and then look for some things we can work on together. But we will work in the next election to try to win more seats for Democrats. Always better to be in the majority party on the Hill than the minority party. But, in the Senate, we've had a little better experience with bipartisan cooperation, obviously, than the House.
Well, in fact, we just spoke to Connie Morella about that, and she said, she's very hopeful that with a Democratic House and a Republican Senate, that there will be sort of now forced, congeniality between the two houses. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, let's see what happens. I hope so. I mean, the other player, of course, is the president of the White House. And unfortunately, we haven't seen many signs of collegiality coming out of the White House and President Trump. I mean, as we're talking right now, he's threatening to shut down the government if he doesn't get $5 billion for a wall. Look, we're all for border security, but we're not in favor of throwing away taxpayer money. We should invest taxpayer money in things like education, and smart border security is fine, but wasting taxpayers' dollars is never a good idea. So, let's just see how things shake out. The good news in the Senate is that we do have bipartisan support for funding the arts. So even when the president tries to eliminate funding for things like the National Endowment for the Arts, the National Endowment for Humanities, we've been able to forge a bipartisan coalition in the Senate to fund it. Now, the House has been a different story because some of the Republican budgets have proposed wiping out funding for arts programs, but in the Senate we've had good experience, and hopefully that will continue, especially now that there's been a change in the House. So, arts make a huge difference, as we know, between a community that's kind of flat and one that is lively and dynamic. And it's been my experience that where you find a big investment in the arts, you find sort of vibrant, dynamic communities, and where you see art deserts and no investment in the arts, they can be pretty dreary places. So these investments are important to support the arts, but they are also part of an economic development strategy. People want to be in exciting, energetic places, and arts are a big part of that.
Montgomery County certainly doesn't have any shortage of that.
That's for sure. You just see, I mean, Lions, everyone's representing a different arts organization, whether it's, you know, writing or playwrights or music or, you know, you just see a great collection here. So it's great to see everyone come together to support and celebrate the arts.
Chris, thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Best of luck to you in the coming Congress.
I appreciate that.
Really
Thank you,
appreciate
Senator.
it.
Thank you.